Good morning. You are getting poked by Laura right now. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so first let's give away my phone number again. I have to find it. It's on my website. I'm going to change my website. It needs to not be about in-person appointments right now. That is not where my life is at. It's just not how I'm being asked to show up in the universe. Okay, so my phone number is 802-322-3548. Please text me, leave me a voice message, tell me a story, ask me for help. If I feel like it's something I can answer, I will. And if I feel like I can't, I will address that as well. And I will talk about why I feel like I can't. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube, Nice Needles. You can also join me on Patreon to get this podcast incomplete. It goes back to 2022. I've got, I don't know. I'm getting close to 200 episodes, so I've got a lot there. So anyway, now that that's out of the way, I am a little bit low on inspiration at the moment. And part of that is that I need to breathe more. I need to get out and walk more and breathe more. But literally, I need to inspire myself. But also, it's a lack of connection. And one of the things that I miss about my in-person practice is the person-to-person connection. I am a people person. And so the isolation that I've been through is pretty extreme for me. And it's really forced things that I already had in place with self-care, to an extreme. I'm hardcore. Okay. But I really miss people and interaction, and I can entertain myself endlessly. I mean, for real. All right. In all ways. I do not deprive myself in any way. But in-person interactions and people's real problems and people's real stories and people's messy lives and the hard questions and the places that they wish that they had a little support or answers, that's the stuff I'm good at. When I was in my office, people came to me with problems I don't even think they knew that I could be of help with, but they felt safe and they felt comfortable and they knew that I was someone who at the very least would listen. And that's a really powerful thing when you find that. And my patients in Los Angeles had me in a very captive way, right? They had to pay a good bit of money to come sit with me. And if we had to sit there for an hour or an hour and a half and just be together, that's what we would do. It's not what I usually did, but I did it frequently. I held space. I helped people to reposition their lives and their perspectives. And my healing really is holistic. So that said, that's why I'm giving out my phone number, and I'm going to give it out one more time, 802-322-3548, okay? I'm serious now, and I'm going to share the story of what happened to me this morning with my friend, who I'm guessing might already be in the room, but I'm not looking at the camera. And if not, that's okay. That's all right. I forgive you. I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are. Because I had an interaction that's just for me, it's friendship, it's connection, it's, normal, whatever, but it's also what I'm really, I think, good at. And it reminded me of that. And so I got inspired, and he said to me, you should do this as a podcast. I'm like, I should. So here I am, fresh off the conversation. I need inspiration is the point. Okay. So send me your shit. I won't out you. Okay. I promise. I'll be as anonymous or not as you want. I'm never going to say your name or any of that. Even with my really close people like this one. But here's what happened. So, what did he say he wanted me to talk about? He liked the phrase, the divine feminine. I liked the idea of, especially when we're talking about, I don't know, if you're a TikTok person or maybe even a YouTube person, I don't know, you might know that there's been a lot of discussion over the years about patriarchy, colonialism, American history, people waking up to racism. I would say the root of most of our issues currently, if not all of them, kind of boil down to race. And I understand that might be a complicated thing for some people to understand, but know that it's coming from a deep understanding and not a topical, political, whatever. What is my point? Where am I going with this? I don't know. I'm getting off track. Okay. Talking about healing the masculine, the rise of the divine feminine. These are not things people often talk about, but I'm going to talk about it in the context of what's going on in his life and how it came up. So he wanted me to talk about that a little bit, which I'll touch on. And also this idea of difficult things, really difficult things. They might be everyday difficult things that we're facing, that we're currently going through, that maybe are like old chronic issues that we can't get through. Like, how do we reposition so that we can be more happy, be more free? And so that was kind of the discussion we had. So here's what happened. So this particular friend of mine has other friends who are moving abroad. Like, they're leaving the country. They have a way to do it, and they're doing it. And part of it is just because they've realized that there's a better life for them outside of the United States. And they've kind of woken up in certain ways to what's actually going on in this country, and not what, you know, we're all told is going on. But this friend has also been considering leaving and looking at that. And, you know, I don't know how real or not that is, but I know that that's out there, right? And there's just a lot of upheaval going on. And then people are looking at kind of their situations. Like, a lot of people that I know who have homes, or who have parents who have homes, where they're worried about, you know, Social Security checks not showing up, being delayed. And that if that happens, that means some people lose their homes like very, very quickly, because of the way that things are situated for people, older people, and everybody really. So, you know, there's just a lot of like instability. So this particular friend of mine is a collector. And so we got talking about that over the years. And so I kind of have an understanding of him and how he lives, and parts of his emotional being and self. Like, we're friends, right? So he's a collector of things. And he was explaining to me today how with the things that he collects, he imbues the emotion onto those things, which is true for most people who are collectors of things, right? It's really an emotional vehicle for us. So it's a way that we don't have to hold it in our body, and that we can imbue it onto things, and then the things hold the feeling, and then we can connect to the things to connect to the feeling. There's a word for that. There's actually more than a word for that, and I don't know what it is, and I apologize. I definitely don't know everything, and even if I do, I still forget it. I still have to look stuff up. So look it up. Let me know in the comments. And so he was talking about how he has to get through this. And I've heard him talk about this before. Like, this is a conversation we've had in the past. Like, I really need to get this done. And, you know, I'm procrastinating. And, you know, I just need to get over it. I just need to, it's just like all these like words. Like, I need to power through. Like, I need to man up. He didn't say that. But, you know, it's like that. Like, just I need to get this shit done. Like, you know, penitente on myself. Like, and my observation back was, you know, actually what you're talking about is that this is an emotional vehicle for you. This is an ability that you have, you know, to put things into things. And he was also describing that he doesn't have a lot of memories from his childhood, which really, to the best of my working understanding, is that very often that is because of trauma, and how we compartmentalize trauma, and how we get through things and stay happy and stay okay. And we all do that differently. Some of us store things in our bodies. Some of us store it outside of ourselves in things. We all have different weird little human ways, beautiful human ways of doing things. And so when he's telling me that, you know, he doesn't remember a lot, and that also he has all of these things like going way back to early childhood, toys and stuff, and trinkets, and just this super ability. And he said even his kids do it, you know. It's like, here's the divine feminine part, right? We don't need to get over it. We don't need to be mad at ourselves for how we do things. What we need to do is, what's the goal? This is what, when people come to me, it's like, I have all this emotional understanding and everything else, but the purpose of it is to help you reach a goal. It's not because I need you to feel things with me and we need to like chant on the floor. It's like, what the do we have to do to get you to this goal? What's your goal? Well, my goal is I don't want to cry every day anymore. My goal is I want to get off antidepressants. My goal is I want to enjoy my life more. My goal is I want to get rid of all this crap in my garage and in my shed and wherever else. And I know I just need to, right? But no, how about if instead, right, we acknowledge what's true and look at let's actually look at the feelings that are involved here on all ends that we can possibly do. Might seem daunting, but if we just face those feelings and we talk about it to its core, oh my gosh, you know what can happen? We can honor it. We can honor the feelings. We can find a new position from which we're doing this from, and we can get it done. And that's the goal, right? The goal is to expedite this process. There's a real need out in the world today, because I might have people moving into my house, you know, I might have children who have to move back into my house. Like, we might need to be more mobile. We might have to sell our house at some point. Like, there's a real need for this thing, but then also this thing is like really important. So, okay. So this friend happens to be very creative that I have. And I said, listen, this is an art project. This isn't a get through stuff. This isn't a, I need to thin shit out because I'm a pack rat and all these negative stories. This is a moment where necessity is meeting the moment, right? We have to do this. So if we're really going to do this without harming ourselves, and if we're really going to do this expediently, because if you do it expediently without looking at it, you're going to harm yourself more, right? You're going to take emotions and throw them away and ignore them, and that's going to freaking hurt you later. So instead, and he actually said this during the conversation, that sometimes he takes pictures of things. So I said, how about if this isn't just a, we're getting rid of stuff because we're a pack rat? How about if this is an art project? Okay, how about if this is, you're going to approach this the way you would approach art. You're going to have boundaries, right? That here's my desk, here's my pens, here's my light. I need quiet. I have to have music on, my head, whatever. So we set our parameters and our boundaries. So the parameters and boundaries are that you're going to be in this space. And I suggested maybe have one box where you can put special things so that if there's things that are really, really difficult, you give yourself space to give yourself more time. Maybe you create another art project out of something and you create something new to represent something else, and you're taking, whatever. But like, this is a project to catalog and to honor your feelings. This isn't about just getting rid of crap. It's not about sucking it up. It's not about muscling through. It's not about getting over it. It's about honoring the fact that these are your feelings. This is your life. This is your experience. And these things hold that for you. And so you have to find another way to transfer that emotional energy. So this is an emotional art project. Leave room for the creativity of what comes forth with that, but honor it for what it is. Be with it with the goal of moving through the feelings, not the stuff, So what I was saying to him about the divine feminine that I loved that he attached to, I was like, this is what's going on right now in the world, right? Patriarchy, Wall Street, the capitalistic model, the top-down dude on top. And we know what that dude looks like because we all make Sky Daddy look like him in this country. And, other figures of potential historical note, like it's the dude at the top. That's this country, and it has eaten us alive. And we see that by who's running the country right now. However you believe that happened, that person's there, they're there because a society created that person and allowed that person to be and to exist and to thrive in their own way, and now to be like at the top, right? Like, this is the moment that we're in of confronting race politics, things that people have avoided forever, things that we're in denial about. And a huge, huge piece of that is the denial of the masculine feminine. That you don't have feelings. I saw a video, I posted it on my story. This guy who was like, he cried on a video with his girlfriend there. She like has helped him to open up. And he made a video because a bunch of people, when he cried on the video, men were like, oh, society doesn't let us do this, and society. And he made a video saying, look, it's not society, it's other men. He was like, I have never, and I'm not saying people out there haven't met a woman who didn't laugh at them when they cried. Women can be just as toxic in the patriarchy as men can. Very much so. A lot of women uphold patriarchy. I don't want to get into that, but they're literal bully, what do you call them? Sticks for it, So the point here is, I'm not trying to get too deep into theory, but the point is that what we need to heal is the idea that men don't feel, and that men need to get over it and suck it up. And that men aren't just as deeply emotional as women are, and boys as girls. And until men, and yes, women, sure, yes, allow men to feel their feelings and to honor their feelings, like, that's just being whole ass human. And when we talk to ourselves this way every day, and we don't honor the truth of who we are and what we are and why, no matter how messy that might feel, no matter how unconventional that might seem, like to radically accept who you are, that's feminism to me. And I think to most people who are further on their journey in feminism, and I don't just mean women, I know men who are feminists, they're fucking amazing. Because the divine feminine is in all of us, just as the divine masculine is. But right now we're in a lot of toxic masculine, and there is a divine feminine rising. And I could go way deep into that, and I know he wanted me to, but I'm not going to, because this is a little bit wacky today, I think, for most people. But I promise you there's a lot behind what I'm saying. It's not empty. Right? The time for community is coming. Why? Necessity. Men will be free when women are free. Because when women are free, men can be free to live in their full, whole ass selves. And last time I checked, it took both sexes to make both sexes, right? We're both things. We're all things. It's a spectrum. If you understand autism spectrum, you understand gender and sex spectrum. And there are both. And I had this conversation with somebody recently. I shouldn't go here, but I'm going to, where they talked about the spectrum, the margins of the spectrum being abnormalities. I disagree with that. A spectrum is a spectrum. You have a bell curve. You have people who are extremes, and then you have a big curve in the middle where most people live, but even within that, there's a spectrum. This is a lot. I didn't mean for it to be so much. My whole point in this is that if you're beating yourself up, okay, if you're using the bully stick, I want to suggest to you that this is passed down patriarchal toxicity that specifically as people who have moved to this country of the United States, we do not understand how enslaved we are by these ideas. The same friend of mine today was telling me how their friend who was leaving the country, I didn't know until way into the story that the person they were talking about is Black. And they were saying how when they went to this other country, which is a very white, quote unquote, white country, that they felt invisible there. And I was like, what? Like, what does that mean? I didn't get the reference. And it wasn't until that point that I understood this person was Black. And the friend said to my friend, yeah, when I go there, if I go into a shop, nobody follows me around. I don't have security come and watch me. If I'm walking down the street with somebody, I don't see the cop turn around to like watch me walk down the road. When I go into a grocery store, their body language doesn't change. He just felt like a human. And I think, this is a part of the awakening I had in my early 20s. It's a part of what's really interesting about what's going on now. And I think it might be why I'm good at helping people to reposition when it comes to health or any other problem in life, is that I got, pardon my language, I got bitch slapped into reality in my 20s of what we live in the United States. Because I was in a program that was international, and all of my student colleagues were from around the world, from various religions, ethnicities, like quote unquote races, human races. The perspectives that I got, the way that I was awakened by Native people of the United States, by LGBTQ Native people of the United States, and then talking to old friends, right, who talked about their different realities in the places I grew up. And I had this great race awakening, class awakening, consciousness thing happen in my 20s. And so I was already pivoting to get out of this system. It's how I got into Chinese medicine in large part, because I couldn't participate anymore in these lies that I think we're all waking up to. And I think maybe that's the deeper thing I want to say, if you've gotten this far, is that right now is very destabilizing for a lot of people. They don't know what to do. The truth is the earth is the same under your feet, right? Life is still here, but you need to fix how you see it, and because otherwise you're not going to survive it. And white people, not just white people, I would say all Americans to a degree, the large majority, but specifically white people, have been very caged by white supremacy here. And you really don't know what's going on because of this cage that we live in. So repositioning, whether it's an art project that you make out of things, you know, from the garage, or whether it's reimagining your life as a homeowner or as a renter, or as living all by yourself and understanding that maybe that's not going to be possible anymore, or having to look for how we're going to get food differently or get medical care differently, right? That's a part of what I'm doing here. I'm here trying to offer a new perspective on health. I really feel called to do it, and I'm going to keep showing up no matter how much I cry about the fact that I can't make it go right now. And I do cry about it. But I'm having to do the same shit. Like I wanted to be in my private practice in Los Angeles, treating people, helping artists, like living this, you know, bourgeois kind of life, bourgeoisie kind of life. Like I had crafted this beautiful, lovely thing that I was so proud of, and I'm still proud of it. And I'm proud of everything I did there. But now I'm like, oh, I got to do a podcast. I like my options. But you know what? How cool is that? Like I have the opportunity, even if my audience stays exactly what it is, you know, and I don't know how many people actually listen, but great. That's a couple people that I still get to help, you know. We're all repositioning. We're all having to rethink. I've been doing it for a long time. And I've had to do it a lot faster since COVID of 2020. But it's happening for everybody else now too, which is relieving and sad and exciting. And so anyway, reposition, repurpose, rethink, get to the root of it. Ask yourself why. Why do I have this stuff? Why do I need to get rid of this stuff? What's the real truth here? What do I need to confront to help myself move forward instead of feeling stuck in what's difficult? All right, I love you. You got poked. Go join all the things. YouTube, Patreon. Share this with somebody. Maybe not this one. Maybe you're like, this really sucked. Okay, fine. Don't share it. That's fine. I don't care. Share one of the things that you think is good. Go back into the archives. I've got stuff back to 2022. Cool stuff. People like the dreams one. I think that's a popular one. Maybe I should do more about dreams. I've done a few about dreams. Look up dreams. You go to Patreon, type in dreams. Anyway, okay, I'm done. You got poked. I love you. Have a great day. Blah, blah. Have a good weekend. I don't record on the weekends. I mean, I don't publish on the weekends. Anyway, have a good one.